We are here today with Nathan Heck. My name is Sam Ovet, and we're going to talk a little bit about what was the easiest parts of earning Eagle for Nathan. What are some of the challenges or hills that he had to overcome? And then also some advice that he would give to current Life Scouts or to his former self as a Life Scout when he was working on his Eagle Scout. And Nathan's also going to give us a little bit of background on himself so that we can get to know him as well. So Nathan, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey in Scouts, and you are an Eagle Scout now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Just to be sure. Yep. You're an Eagle Scout now. You've earned your Eagle Scout. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's jump right in with what was the easiest part about earning your Eagle Scout rank, because I like that question. I think it's really fun.
All right. Hey, guys. It's me, Nate, or Nathan, whatever you want to call me. I am 19 years old. I am from PA, Pennsylvania, Covington to be more. And my troop is from there. Well, I currently live in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Got it.
I started my scouting career as a Tiger Cub back way long time ago. And I, over time, became an Eagle. There were some pretty hard times, and there were some pretty easy times. Probably one of the easiest times to getting to my Eagle Scout was probably the help. There was some times that it wasn't easy trying to get some help, but there was also, I had tons of friends that were able to come and help me. Probably one of the hardest times was trying to figure out the budgeting occurrence.
As far as for the project itself?
Yes.
So let's step back a second. As far as the easy times in earning Eagle, one of the easier things, you said that you had a lot of friends help you out with stuff and come and support you in different things. Tell us a little more about that, if you don't mind.
Well, I over time with my scouting career, I gotten a lot of friends through Order of the Arrow or summer camp, and there were a lot of them were local, a lot of them weren't. I had a few friends that were locally. That one was a lodge leader, and he helped me out with my actual Eagle Scout project. He came over, he helped me build it, and a lot of the troop members were my friends too, and they helped me build the sign, which was for my Eagle Scout project.
Nice.
So, and over time, it was pretty easy. I've gained a lot of friends from it, and I'm happy to be in scouting for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's great. Now, as far as challenges that you had in terms of, we call them challenges or hills to climb when earning Eagle, what were some of the things that for you posed a challenge? I know you said did you say the budgeting?
Yeah, that was the harder part because I didn't do fundraising. I went around to the local towns that were in mine because where my project was. My project was out in almost the middle of nowhere.
Oh, nice. What was your project? Tell us again. You sort of alluded to it, but what was it?
Oh, sorry. My project was I rebuilt a sign and cleaned the headstones at a cemetery in Raymond, PA.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually, you can see it now on Google Maps.
No way.
I've been paying attention to that just to see if it would be up there.
That's cool.
And I had to go into the local town, which is Ulysses, and ask for money.
Right.
And it wasn't the hardest part for the fact, but it was I kind of didn't start my project till almost a year later afterwards. So I had to go back through and explain to him why everything wasn't being run, because I was getting questions about that.
What did you tell him? What was how did you I'm sure other scouts might be in that situation. I'm curious, maybe you could shed some light on what you did that was made everybody feel comfortable that you were continuing to move forward and use their money towards that project that they had given it towards.
I showed them the progress so far, and I had given them I had gotten the council's approval for it.
Yeah.
And I explained to them what was going, what I was planning on doing, when, where, and what the money was actually going towards.
Oh, cool. And was everybody happy with that? No problem. They said, okay, great. It was just, did you find that it was good to communicate with them though? And
Oh
let
yeah,
them know?
yeah. The communication is key when it comes to the project and the people who are help funding it.
Yeah. Did you find that anybody else donated more money after that, out of curiosity?
Yes. I actually, my parents helped, which is also part. They helped a lot. They donated some, to which I gave. I actually had money left over, and I donated that to the cemetery association, so
Oh,
they could have
wow.
money to do further renovations that they needed to.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, my grandparents or my grandmother, she actually donated some money too, because the cemetery there, which I forgot to bring up, is actually next to my family homestead,
Got it. Got it.
and they also my grandfather and my great grandparents are also buried there, and my aunt is so.
Oh, so that was a pretty special place to you
Yeah.
and to your family.
Oh yes.
Oh, what a cool project. Um, were there any other challenges? If there weren't, that's okay. I was just curious as far as thinking through what other scouts might face or consider challenges. If you think back, that you'd say, you know what, maybe that was a little bit of a challenge, and here's a way that I thought through it or overcame it. And it could just be a hill to climb that's
Yeah, I actually had one. It was kind of embarrassing to me. The fact is that I forgot to plan too far ahead, and I had all my materials and everything. And the day we're going over to put the sign up, I didn't have enough room for the boys, so I had a couple parents that weren't really happy on me asking them to come for the day. Come,
So, like, you didn't have enough room to transport people over, or
yeah,
enough room. Okay, so you needed more room for transport. Like, you needed more vehicles to get the scouts
yeah.
to the project site.
Yeah, and I completely forgot to plan that part out, and I completely messed up, and I was apologetic the whole day to the two parents,
But
and
at the end of the day, it worked out, and everybody
oh
came.
yeah, yep,
That's great to hear. So now, well, that's great. So we've talked a little bit about what you found to be easy, which was great because I think it's important for other scouts to recognize, there's a lot of easy parts about it that are enjoyable. Maybe they're not easy, but they're enjoyable, and it's a process. And then good to hear the challenges. Now, if you could give a piece of advice to life scouts that are working on their Eagle Scout rank right now, and maybe think about ones that are close to turning 18, 6 months to a year. What advice would you give them? Or maybe another way to think about it is, what advice would you give yourself at that time, looking back now? Because hindsight's always 2020. It's funny that way, but
well, like I said in the post, in the somewhat of a key points I made is the push. The end game is worth the push, the sweat, and everything, the hard work that you put into it. You also need to plan. Planning is key when it comes to all this. Plan ahead. It never hurts to, and it doesn't hurt to ask for help.
yeah. And would you say did you find more than you expected, or maybe as much as you expected, that people in your community, whether that be your friends, your family, or your scout leaders, were super excited and happy to help you out?
Yes, I had tons of help on it. I was happy. I was actually had more than I expected. I had things donated to me that I didn't think I was going to have donated. I had a lot of the metal materials, like the bracket for the back of the sign, and the screws and the cable link that I had for it, donated to me by my old scoutmaster from the troop I got my Eagle Scout from. And then I also had the post holes that were dug for it. They were dug by the local telephone company.
Oh, wow. Oh, so that was a unique one. I've not heard that before as a resource that, scouts might use if they need to dig a deep hole, because often scout projects involve digging a really deep hole for, some sort of structure.
Yeah.
Uh,
We had to ask, make sure there was no gas there, and we asked them if they would be willing to, if there was a price that needed to be negotiated, or if they could do it for free, and they said, yeah, we'll do it for free.
Wow. So another resource that's potentially out there depending on the community.
Yes, depending on the community, I would highly suggest checking as well.
That's great, man. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. That was really good. Are there any other things you'd like to add to encourage scouts who are currently working on it? If you were, imagine you're speaking to a room of scouts right now, and they all have their Life Scout and they're working towards their Eagle. What sort of encouraging words would you say if you had that opportunity?
Probably the basic would be, don't get discouraged on the obstacles you have to cross. Cross them with courage, cross them with all the confidence in the world, and you'll get to it.
That's awesome. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us today and sharing your journey to Eagle Scout and some of the different parts of it, so everybody else can learn from it. And we really appreciate that. So thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.